Are you ready to get a little witchy with it? Because we are diving into Agatha All Along, episode 5, and wow, things get wild. The Seven of Salem show up.
Yeah, and that's where things really take a turn, because
Tell me about it.
the Seven of Salem, they're not just some random villains. They actually represent this deep cycle of revenge that Agatha can't seem to escape. I mean, think back to WandaVision. She took out her whole coven without blinking an eye.
And she seemed almost proud of it.
Exactly. But those actions have consequences, because the Seven of Salem, they're the children of that coven, and they are out for blood.
Oh, yeah, they are not messing around. And that line Agatha has, always finish what you start. Besides, mercy is overrated.
It's totally chilling. And it's not just a throwaway line. That right there, that's Agatha's survival mantra.
Mm-hmm.
She's learned the hard way that showing vulnerability gets you hurt.
Yeah, it's like she's built walls around herself.
Exactly. Walls of magic and sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to avoid feeling that pain again.
And speaking of feeling the pain, her next trial is a doozy. Picture this, the coven, finally they find this creepy cabin. And this cabin, it becomes like a battleground for Agatha's past.
It's true, because in this cabin, the veil between the living and the dead is super thin.
Ooh, spooky.
Right. And for Agatha, that means confronting some serious demons. And I'm not just talking about the supernatural kind.
Yeah, this is where things get really real, really fast.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you can just feel the tension, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know something's going to happen.
Yeah. Right, like they're playing with fire and they don't even know it yet. At first, Agatha tries to play it cool. She even pretends to be possessed.
Classic Agatha.
Totally. Like, girl, we know you're faking it.
Exact.
But then it gets real, because the spirit they contact, it's not just any spirit, it's death itself.
Talk about bad timing.
Right. And the way Agatha transforms, it's terrifying. But then, and this is the real kicker, the entity possessing Agatha, it's her own mother, Evanora Harkness.
Talk about family drama.
Right. I mean, can you imagine your own mother inhabiting your body and being like, you were born evil, I should have killed you the moment you left my body?
That's some next level mommy issues
Like,
right
for
now.
real. It's like
Yeah.
their whole relationship is just built on this foundation of rejection and pain.
Which makes you wonder, did Agatha become this, well, powerful, ruthless witch because of her mother? Or was it always in her? Was she destined to be this way?
It's like nature versus nurture on a whole other magical level.
Totally. And it makes Agatha, who's usually so sure of herself, seem so vulnerable for a change.
Totally. And you see that vulnerability when Alice tries to intervene to actually save her.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Alice. Even after everything, she still sees the good in Agatha. She still sees that spark of light buried beneath all that darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And she's willing to risk her own life to try and save her.
Which makes what happens next even more tragic, because Agatha, fueled by all of Evanora's power, starts draining the life force right out of her.
It's brutal.
It's heartbreaking, like watching a car crash in slow motion. And the thing is, Agatha doesn't even hesitate. It's like, in that moment, all she cares about is survival.
Which brings us back to that question. Is Agatha's ruthlessness a choice, or is it in her blood?
It's too late for Alice. The damage is done.
She's gone.
And Agatha is left with the consequences of her actions. She gets her powers back, but at what cost?
That's the thing about power, isn't it? Sometimes it comes at a price, a big one. And in Agatha's case, it cost her one of the only people who still believed in her.
And now she's got a whole other problem to deal with, because Wiccan, he just witnessed the whole thing.
And something tells me he's not going to just shrug it off.
Not a chance. But before we get into that, let's talk about Wiccan. This episode is intense for him.
Yeah.
And that question he asks her, is that what it means to be a witch? Killing people to serve your own agenda?
Where's the line between ambition and ruthlessness? Between self-preservation and just plain hurting others?
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. And Agatha, being Agatha, she doesn't exactly offer him a shoulder to cry on. Instead, she hits him with that line, "You're a lot like your mother."
Oof. Talk about twisting the knife.
Right. It's like she wants to push him to see what he'll do.
Of course she does. Because that's how Agatha sees power, as a weapon to be wielded.
Yeah, it's all a game to her. And Wiccan's reaction to all this, Explosive doesn't even begin to cover it.
Right. It's like something inside him just snaps.
Totally. Like that one line, "You're a lot like your mother." It's like a switch flips and boom, he unleashes this torrent of magic. And it's not just directed at Agatha either. He turns on Jen and Lilia too.
It's like they're puppets.
And that final shot of the episode with Wiccan wearing a crown that looks a lot like
Scarlet Witches. Yeah, I noticed that too. Chills. Right.
major chills. Because it's like he's stepping into his birthright, his destiny. But will he use his powers for good? Or is he going to follow in his mother's footsteps? And what about the Seven of Salem? They are still out there somewhere.
Oh yeah, they're not done yet. This game is far from over. You know, it's interesting though, because even though she's in a super tight spot, it's hard to feel too bad for her.
Right. I mean, she kind of had it coming, right?
Right. She made her choices,
Yeah.
and now she's got to deal with the fallout. Although that doesn't mean it won't be entertaining to watch her try to wriggle out of this one.
Oh, for sure. Especially with Wiccan in the mix. Like, who knows what he'll do next? He's got all that power, but is he going to use it for good, or is this the start of something a lot darker? I don't know about you, but my head is spinning.
Mine too, in the best way possible.
Always. What about you listening? What are your thoughts on all of this? What do you think Agatha's next move will be? And what about Wiccan? Is he going to embrace the darkness or become something more? Head over to our social media and let's discuss. And remember, whether you're a seasoned magic practitioner or just dipping your toes into the mystical waters, there's always more to discover. So until next time, keep those minds curious and those questions coming.